I feel that when we come together as family, as equals, not somebody helping somebody, not somebody, but as equals, that we open our hearts to each other and our minds to each other, that the coming together of what we're carrying is going to create a whole new way of walking on the planet. And as a mother, I spent my life, well, as a person, a human being, I spent my life seeking the missing pieces, what I felt were the missing pieces to our culture. And as a mother, I felt that in order to educate my children properly, to really bring the world truly educated individuals, that I had to expose them to Native thinking. And that's what took me out into my relationship with these people, and what I discovered before that and what I have discovered from living with them and spending an extensive amount of time is that there are clues there for how we can walk on the planet with an open heart, in trust. Theirs is a trust-based belief, and actually I've made the leap into understanding that what they're carrying has to do with the true nature of the universe, the aspects that have been left out of the scientific paradigm, that little teeny box that we've put ourselves in, that there's a much bigger, broader, expanded universe out there, and that the Native people have kept the connection to the unseen forces of the universe, and they've kept the connection to the loving, abundant universe in their knowing. And none of us have walked it yet on the planet and tapped into it in its pure form, and that's what we're going to discuss tonight, is the coming together of all people and the walking into trust and into this new reality. And now we're here, and we're bringing in, because we're in Boston and Cambridge where this country began, and because it so happens that the three of us are descended from John and Priscilla Alden, the Pilgrims, and I wanted to bring in the peace, that pilgrim vision that they had when they came across the water, and we'll speak more of that tonight. But this gave us an opportunity to bring in those high ideals that have driven mankind for centuries, and that little handful of people came over on the Mayflower and brought the concept of equal and just laws and the choice to elect your people and pledging obedience to the self-governing process and seeking equality with the Native people. I mean, if one does research, one will find the astounding relationship between the Native people and those first band of pilgrims for 50 years.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Janice Pryor, and I am the co-chair of the Board of Directors for the Cambridge Multicultural Arts Center. On behalf of CMAC's Board of Trustees, I want to welcome you to a very special evening. I'm sure you have already gathered that we are uniquely honored with this presence tonight. Tonight we begin a dialogic journey from the darkness and shadows of our fears and ignorance and perhaps anger to the light and warmth of hope, wisdom, and understanding. It is CMAC's sincere wish that tonight may we all find the strength and the courage with which to speak truth to power, where all our voices can be heard and respected. CMAC owes this evening to the heartfelt efforts of a very unique woman, a direct descendant of the Pilgrim settlers. Her ancestors were signers of the Mayflower Compact. If you read her biography, and as some of you may know from the gallery talk, you'll find out that she's a photographer. She's taken workshops with Ansel Adams, Brett Weston, Minor White, to name a few, studied landscape photography, tried to handle commercial work, but eventually walked away from the formal designation of photographer. What's important for us to appreciate tonight is her deep connection and relationship with the Native American community, especially those Native people who are visionaries and have earned the honored title of elder. Out of this relationship, her mission has evolved. In 1991, she founded Friends of Earth People and has been intent on working to open our hearts to the beauty of the human family and the kindness and generosity that lies at the foundation of the human potential. That said, it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to the woman who has served as the heartbeat of tonight's event, Connie Baxter Marlow.
Eek. My goodness. Thank you.
I did my homework.
Thank you. You did. My goodness. I will now just kind of share some of my thoughts as this human being first, Pilgrim descendants second. You know, we're bringing in the Pilgrim piece, as I mentioned, because here in Cambridge and Boston, because this is where this country began. And when I was writing out my thoughts, I called my thoughts on combination. I left it out there. And this concept of combination, the Mayflower Compact that was signed in the hold of the Mayflower by this intrepid young, small group of inspired, what I've discovered through my reading, I've been doing extensive reading and visiting in Plymouth and really going into this Pilgrim piece, I've discovered that these people were indeed this small band of pilgrims, to be differentiated from the Puritans. This is a big difference that big confusion that we have. That these inspired individuals sat in the hold of the Mayflower and wrote what they called the Mayflower Combination. It's now called the Mayflower Compact. But this concept of combination is an important one. And what happened when those people debarked from that Mayflower, they came onto a land that was devoid of people. That little area where they came onto, that was devoid of people living there, and they came and they made contact with the native people. When they came, they eventually, a native man, a Samoset, a Wabanaki from Maine, came to them, who spoke English, came, and that was the first contact they had, and he said, "Welcome." And they came together at that time. He introduced them to Massasoit, the great chief of the Wampanoags. And these men, William Bradford and John Carver and the great Massasoit, bridged a chasm of differences that is beyond our ability to conceive of at this point. I mean, those people came from England. They had heard all these things about the native people, and here were people who were naked, who were covered in paint, and wearing skins. I mean, things that were so foreign to them. And Massasoit and these inspired individuals came together and formed an agreement of peace that was to last 40 years between them and their people. And they lived, several of the native people lived in community with the Pilgrims, and so there was this combination that occurred on the Mayflower before they came. The disparate group of people on the Mayflower brought themselves together and in this civil body politic to create equal and just laws to serve the common good. So this combination of people on the Mayflower, they transferred that combination into coming onto this land with the native people of this land. And it is my feeling that Massasoit, both Massasoit and these people, took a huge leap into their hearts to bridge these differences and to come together. And this is something that is just not seen and not understood in the minds of this country. And what I've seen is a huge, huge wound of shame, of guilt on the part of the white people, and a huge wound of anger and blame on the part of the native people. And what I've seen is that this shame and this guilt and this blame and this anger are such huge obstacles to the opening of the heart that until this country comes to understand the vision of these ancestors, of this small band of visionary people, that the heart has been alive on this planet forever. It's just there's a light side and there's a dark side, and humanity has had the free will to choose between the light and the dark, and the light has always been there, and it's a thread that we all dream of, that we all see, but we haven't lived yet on the planet. And it's my understanding that this has not been lived on the planet ever. The native people have kept a balance and have kept a closer connection to this light and to this path of truth and to this balance and beauty, but they haven't lived it yet either. When we came over here, they were at war with each other. The lands that these people found had the farmland had been overcropped. You know, Squanto had to teach them how to fertilize the land because it had been over-tilled. You know, we haven't done it yet. And what I understand that prophecy is telling us is that we are going to live it. But until we come together, until all the pieces of the body come together and work together, we're crippled. We're a crippled body. Without the hand without the foot, the heart, the head without the heart, we can't do it. We can't get there from here. And that's an old Maine saying, by the way. I don't know if any of you heard of it. Old Bert and I were profound individuals. We can't get there from here right now until we come together and we have a more complete understanding of the nature of the universe so that we can align ourselves with the beauty of the universe that's existing and that the native people have been trying to share with us forever. And they finally stopped trying because we weren't ready to hear it. But it's now, we've walked through the material world. We've seen that it's a lot of empty promises, and we've ended up stumbling over our stuff. You know, and I think we all know that there's a better way. Well, we're not going to find a better way until we open our hearts and come together and walk on this planet with an open heart in trust of a loving universe. And these native people, with their knowing, can give us the clues. All of us. The Creator said to us, hey, I'm not going to tell you how to do it, guys. You have to figure it out. So that's what's here for us, is clues. And it's up to us to bring our piece to the party and do the work and walk the talk and walk into this in beauty and in balance in our own lives every day, walking into our hearts, into alignment with our true self, and implement it every single day of our lives. And that's how the shift will happen, in my opinion. Well, let me introduce our honored elders here. I had told Janice to have me do that because they've been friends of mine for many, many years. And so Wallace Black Elk is a Lakota elder who's been a visionary since he was 5 and recognized by his people as a visionary since he was 5 years old. And I met him 10 years ago, and I realized at that time that I was sitting with someone who remembers the beginning, is the present, and can see the future. These native people, as I mentioned earlier, walk beyond the confines of space and time and walk into the entirety of the universal mind, which Grandfather will refer to. And this great man has participated throughout his life significantly in Native American history. He has played roles in making sure that certain laws are passed for Sundance and all manner of things. I don't have this biography down specifically, but you're sitting here with a great national treasure, and I'm honored to have him here, and I think you'll find that too. And here we, sorry, but it's true. I have to say that. And we also have Arnie Neptune, who is a Penobscot elder from Maine, whose ancestor was the first man to climb Mount Katahdin, was a great shaman, and his ancestors was the first to climb Mount Katahdin, the mountain that my family, that I referred to earlier, the mountain that my family bought and gave to the people of Maine and back to the people so that it would be forever wild, a sacred place. And so Arnie is following in the footsteps of his great ancestor. He left the reservation, the poverty of the reservation, and went out into the world for 40 years and came back about 10 years ago, I believe. About 10 years ago, Arnie? You come back to his people, and he's been bringing spiritual vision and a spiritual knowing and a ceremonial way of being back to his people who had lost much of its tradition. And you'll find that the love in his heart and his expansive knowing is contributing in a visionary way to the coming together. And also we have Donna Augustine and her beautiful little daughter Tanisha. And Donna is a MicMac woman from Big Cove, New Brunswick, out on the far eastern shore of this continent. And these people are the people of the dawn. The Wabanaki are the people of the dawn, as are the Wampanoag. Wampanoag is known as the people of the dawn. And these are the people who are keepers of the eastern door of Turtle Island. And they are the ones who see the sun the first. They're the bringers of the dawn to our continent. So in this expanse of knowing that these native people have, one starts to see things and make connections to things that one doesn't think of in our thinking. And so we're fortunate to have with us tonight these bringers of the dawn, because that's what we're talking about tonight, is the prophecy of the coming of the great dawn of the human heart and the great opening of the human heart on the planet. Donna is a very strong, powerful, spiritual teacher and woman, and we're fortunate to have her here tonight. And she's also a singer and shares a lot of her spiritual ways through song and storytelling.
Hey,